Hi guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to a game of Fangs and Thrones. Now today's video, as you can probably tell by the title, by the title, this is going to be another weekly reading vlog. Now I do have a few things to mention just before we get started. Thought I'd lost an earring there. So, it's Monday, so I'll quickly wrap up what I read over the weekend, which was near enough the entirety of Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. And it has a giant little lizard. I think it looks a bit like a bearded dragon. But yeah, so I gave this one 4 stars. It's found family. Rags is our main character. He's a bit of a thief. He's tasked by Morian the Last, who is the sorcerer, to find these 6 Fey relics. The start of the book is him, uncovering the first relic, which is done through a series of maze-like trials with all sorts of nasties. And at the end of that, he meets he meets Shining Talon, who is a Fey prince and one of these relics. Now that's not a spoiler, it is in the it does tell you who the Fey relics are people, and it gives you a sense of their character in the synopsis. So we meet Rags as Rags meets Shining Talon, and then together those two find the rest of these relics. These people, I don't even call them relics because they're not relics, but these people, and they have, and each person is a master of the number that they are. So Shining Talon is going to be the master of 6, and I think Rags is the master of 5, but for some reason those two came first because Rags is the master of the 6 people, and he's the one that is supposed to lead them, and Shining Talon is just there to guide Rags, essentially. So they are led to the Master of One, and One is an animal. One is the animal that you see on the cover there. She's a giant, metallic, steampunky clockwork with a bit of magic lizard who can morph in size. And then we meet 2 and 3. Now I'll not tell you what 2 and 3 are for spoilers, but they're characters as well. But what I like about, I gave it 4 stars. I loved the characters, the 6 main characters that we follow, but we do only get, we don't see much from Shining Talon's point of view. Every of the other guys have their own personalities and their own distinct voices shine through in the writing. The chapters are quite short, but even then I knew who I was reading from. Excuse me. It's not COVID. It's just a tickle. So even then I knew who I was reading from. What I think let it down, personally, was that the atmosphere was there, but the setting, the world building, was just a little bit, dare I say, basic, and a little bit typical for a fantasy book. Admittedly, you have this area that is ruled by magic, and that part was nice because it was a nod to the Fey War that happened in the past of this world, and it was ruled by a bloodthirsty, vicious queen who has her own reasons for being bloodthirsty and vicious, because her family line has a curse on it as well. So yeah, so that one got 4 stars. My current read is up there, and I can't be bothered to get it, and that is All Our Hidden Gifts by Caroline. Is it Caroline or Catherine? Either way, O'Donoghue. I'm going to check. Be right back. Caroline, I was right. Here we go. And this is the story. This is a bit of an urban fantasy paranormal book following Maeve. And what have I just knocked off? Oh, a pair of scissors. Following Maeve Chambers, who finds a tarot deck while she's punished to clean out a bit of a cupboard, bit of a junk cupboard at her school. I'm on chapter 17, which is 100 and page 44, out of 395, so I've got a way to go with this one. But so far I'm enjoying it. It's fast paced, it's funny, it is dealing with it has disability rep, because one of our characters, it's not made explicitly clear if she's deaf or hard of hearing, but she wears a hearing aid in one of her ears, and she is described as being self-conscious about that. And then that character's brother is going through some gender, I don't want to call it a crisis, because he's not, but he's starting to question his gender, and goes to our main character Maeve and asks her to call him Ro, and obviously Ro is quite a non-binary, neither masculine neither feminine name, and he's in the process of questioning who he is. I'm using he, him pronouns because at the moment that's what that character wants to be known as. He switches between Rory and Ro, depending on who he's with and who's talking about him. But basically, this is, and Maeve finds these tarot cards, and I do like tarot. I have a set just out of reach. She finds these tarot cards and she bonds with them. Their energies become synced, and she starts giving tarot readings for the girls at school, because she goes to an all-girls school. And then she gains popularity through that. She makes a bit of money out of it, because what else are you going to do when you're bored at school in Ireland? No, I'm kidding. Ireland's lush place. But yeah. So, and then we meet. Then Maeve does a reading for her ex-best friend Lily, the girl with the hearing aid. The other girls in the class kind of put Maeve up to it. A bit of peer pressure going on, because Lily is really into the occult and she respects it too much to mess around with it. And she gets a reading that really freaks her out, because there is an extra card that Maeve pulls that doesn't belong in the tarot deck, and then after that Lily disappears. So that's pretty much all I can tell you, because that's just what happens from the back, and the rest of this, and it does happen fairly quickly, I would say. But the rest of the story is obviously Maeve trying to figure out why the missing card is there, what that connection is to Lily, and essentially trying to get Lily back while learning about herself and apologising, and hopefully, fingers crossed, apologising to Lily for being such a bad friend in the past. So that's this week. Well, tonight's read at least, because it's fairly short, just under halfway, I would say, and the writing is a fairly decent size. I mean, it's definitely YA, but it's I don't know if it would be young YA, because it doesn't read like that. It reads quite, but anyway, I digress. So that's today's read, and as today is not decision day for lockdown and the release of restrictions that was supposed to be the 21st of June, but it was review day, so it's the 14th of June now. Unfortunately, in England we are under restrictions for the next 4 weeks. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that they get lifted by this time next month, because as you guys may know, I'm supposed to be going on holiday to America for my mum's 50th at the end of July. So send all your hopes and prayers, because it's a once in a lifetime trip, and we really don't want to have to postpone it again. So that's the doom and gloom. part of it, the update on where we are with COVID, the weekend reading wrapped up, current read, some 2 other things I wanted to tell you. Oh yes, at the weekend, because this is quite relevant, I'm getting my first COVID jab, and depending on the length of this vlog, I might take you, well, I won't take you with me, but I'll probably pop in on the Saturday, let you know how I'm feeling and whatnot. The other thing, now this is very appropriate, this is as you can tell, it's a Destroyed Waterstones bag, but I can quickly give you a sneak peek. I've made my own TBR game, well, in the process of making it. It's nothing exciting, just based on snakes and ladders with a few extra bits thrown in to make it bookish. And so I've got, the board is done, I just need to write out my prompts, and I'm going to be using my new Illumicrate tea caddy to put the prompts in. If you guys can think of any prompts that you think would be good for my shelves, or just reading prompts in general, comment down below and I'll see if I've already got them, or if not, I'll add them to the list. And oh, so the game, I'm hoping to have that ready by August, because you'll have seen by the time this video goes up, you'll have seen the announcement for what I'm planning in July, which is Sequelathon. So I've already filmed the announcement video. I filmed that on Saturday, and then the next scheduled video will be the TBR for that. And I'm going to leave this intro here, because it is getting a little bit late-ish. Well, I say late, it's 6:30. But it's probably time for me to do some reading. Pop on the booktube because everybody is posted today, and I'll come back to you if something interesting happens, or more likely I finish the book, or even tomorrow. So yeah. So it's Tuesday now, and I did mean to update you last night because I did finish All Our Hidden Gifts, but I finished it literally the minute before I went to bed. So All Our Hidden Gifts, I'm going to give that 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely adored everything about it, from the atmosphere, which was pretty much spot on for what I would say is a lazy Irish winter, with a little bit of paranormalness thrown in. The paranormal elements didn't overpower the contemporary elements of this, and it was just a perfect mix. What I didn't expect was how much I would care about Ro. I never really care much about the love interests in books like this, because I'm not really a contemporary fan, but Ro has some struggles going on. I'm going to use he, him pronouns, because that's what the author uses in the book to describe Ro, but Ro is bisexual, and he is also genderqueer, so he has to deal with coming out, all of that, as well as Ireland itself is a very traditional country, in the sense of they were one of the last in the UK to get equal marriage rights. There's still talks about abortion, and obviously LGBTQIA plus rights is always a big thing because of oppression and prejudice that's happened in the past. So this book mentions all of those, but with the focus on LGBTQIA plus representation and rights. And so Maeve, so that's just sort of sidelined, but it is a big plot because Maeve's sister is lesbian, and later on in the book they get attacked. So trigger warnings. I'm not normally affected, and this is by no means a exhaustive list, but trigger warnings include homophobia, racism, and basically they're just LGBT, homophobia, and blood magic. That's right at the end, so there is a little bit of self-harm in there. So when that scene happened, I did get a bit choked up. But yeah, so that's that. So I'm going to do full reviews for all of the books that I mentioned in the vlogs in wrap-ups. Just so I'm not repeating myself, but you know what my initial thoughts are on finishing the books in the vlogs, and then I have a chance to collect my thoughts a bit and be a little bit more concise. Verbose, the word escapes me, but a little bit more eloquent and what have you, and get my thoughts together in wrap-ups when I've had time to think about what I actually want to say about the books. And so that is book number 7 of the month, and we are, does June have 30 days or 31? Either way, we are bang on the halfway mark of the month, and I have 2 books left on my official TBR. So, just looking at them, because my TBR cart my book trolley is just out of shot here. So looking at them, I think I'll do the Unbroken, which is book 1 in the Magic of the Lost series by C.L. Clarke, and that's my Fairy Loot spatula going for flying lessons. So this is the book I'm going to read next. If you saw the TBR video, you'll know that this was Sean, my boyfriend's pick, and he picked it because it's called The Unbroken. If you know, you know, but basically The Unbroken is a sports film. So I did explain to him that this is a fantasy and not a sports book. But basically all I know about this one is it is gay. It is a female-female romance, which is perfect for Pride. I need to read more diversely. But I'll get on to that in a minute. So this is a female-female romance, I believe. It follows Terrain, who is a soldier. She was kidnapped and raised to kill and die for the Empire, only caring about herself and her fellow conscripts. But now she's been sent back home to try and stop a rebellion. But then we also follow Luca, who I believe is a princess or royal, because she needs someone to sway the rebels towards peace. So Luca can focus on getting what she wants, which is the throne. So it is through assassinations and massacres in bedrooms and war rooms, Terrain and Luca will haggle over the price of a nation, but some things aren't for sale. Oh, and in case I didn't mention it, this is an Illumicrate book. It is adult because it's published by Orbit, and as far as I know, Orbit books only publish adults. All our hidden gifts came from BookBox Club. I think that's everything updated. Basically everything I'm reading this month either comes from BookBox Club, Illumicrate, or Fairy Loot. So in terms of my diverse reading, I've realised in this month, I'm going to have to be very careful about how I say this, because I don't mean it in a bad way, but in terms of coming out stories, they're not me, because I just think I can't relate, and I'm not really a contemporary fan anyway. But I don't mind. I don't like reading coming out stories where that is the main plot anyway, because I think people on... Oh, something just fell over there. I'll sort that out in a minute, because I think that people are more than their sexuality, more than their gender. So in terms of Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, never really interested me. Heartstopper, yes, I am interested in that one because it seems cute. Those kind where the I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but basically, if a book has gay characters in it, great. But I don't want the main focus of that storyline being one of them's out, they're in it, one of them's came out, the other one's talking about coming out, because people are more than that. So, give me a story, an adventure story with a gay protagonist, any day of the week. Give me a contemporary story with the protagonist is trying to come out, only because it's contemporary. Give me a fantasy element. Give me a bit of a fantasy element where coming out is a subplot. Great. Only because I don't want. This sounds awful, but I don't want my experience to be that all of these people are just their gender or just their sexuality, because people are three-dimensional, they have more than that going on. So that's that little rant over with. So if anybody knows of any stories like that, where a character like Jesper and Wyatt in the Six of Crows duology, or got to be others, but I can't, my mind's gone blank. Basically, characters who are gay but the storyline doesn't revolve around them coming out, because I just don't like that, because I can't relate to that. But that's not to say that I don't enjoy gay fiction or queer fiction. It's just I can't read contemporary. I struggle with it majorly. But if like I say, if the characters are gay, that's fine. I just don't want their whole storyline, their whole arc, their whole character to be dependent on this one. I want to say minuscule, but it's not, because obviously it's a big thing for people. And it's not unimportant either. But this one facet of their personality, of their identity, I need full rounded. Why they what colour do they like, what interests do they have, and then almost added on as a little side bit, oh, and by the way, they're gay, because to me that's how I feel. It's like, okay, this person likes boys and they identify as male, good for them. This person identifies as genderqueer and is asexual, fine. Does anybody see where I'm going with this? But yeah, I've ranted for long enough. I'm going to get started on this book with I like this foiling. It's quite simple and understated. But I'm going to get started with this, and I'll probably update you. Oh, it has a map. It has a map. I'll probably update you when I'm about 100 pages in, I would say, just because then I think I'll have enough feel for the book about what's going on. There's a chapter, what's it called, an excerpt. There's an excerpt for the Jasmine Throne here, which was the Illumicrate book for the month after. I just fitting, it just made me laugh. But anyway, this book is try not to spoil myself. 486 pages, with some extra bits at the back, which I'll probably not read because I have the book anyway. So I'll get on with this, and I'll stop this now because I'm repeating myself and rambling and I have nothing else to say. Okay, I have just done a post-strip cleansing thing, so I need to wash my face and get these black spots off. But we'll just use the mirror to the viewfinder to get most of it off. That'll do for now. So I'll make this quick because the battery's running out on this on me. But I'm on page. I know I said I would update. It's page 100, but I'm on page 64, which and I'm about to start chapter 5. But so far we are getting a feel for the characters, Terrain and Luca. It is third person, split perspective, so we follow Luca and Terrain. Terrain is a soldier, as mentioned. She was taken away from her home country when she was about 5, I think it said. And obviously she was trained as a conscript, but she's risen to be a lieutenant, which is practically unheard of in her battalion. And Luca is obviously a princess who has been sent by her father to the city to see it as an experiment in leadership. But basically her father seems to be just waiting for Luca to fail. What's making me update this now is because the world is so rich. It is set in a desert, but at the moment we are just meeting all the different nationalities, which is quite interesting, and the camera's dying, so bye. Hi, Wednesday. We're doing a standing update today because it's charging the camera, or camera batteries, and just couldn't be bothered to fight with the tripod today. So if I have included it, you'll see last night that I got to the 50-page mark-ish of the Unbroken and decided that that was a good time to update. Ooh, dizzy. I then read a little bit more and got to page 112, which is chapter 10. And in the last chapter, so chapter 9, our two main characters, Terrain and Luca, finally met. The previous chapters were just getting to know them on their own and learning the world and how they fit into that world and what that was a weird saying of what, and what they can gain, what they need to change. So for Terrain, her conscripts are constantly being treated as less than. They don't seem to be given any rights and are pretty much blamed for everything. And Luca, our princess, has been sent to this country, and I've forgotten the name of it already, but she's been sent to the country to rule it as a bit of a Balade. That's it, Balade. They are in Balade. Luca has been sent to Balade by her father to test her leadership skills, but basically it seems to be more like a sense of they can get Luca out of the way while they decide who's going to rule instead. And what I liked about this one so far is that Luca has a physical disability. She's either broken her leg in the past and it's healed wrong, or she was born with it. It hasn't been quite decided yet, but the end of chapter 9 through it's either chapter 8 or chapter 9 that they actually meet, but it isn't until the end of chapter 9 that Luca makes the bargain with Terrain, and it's pretty much where I left off. Anything else I tell you about this book going forward, I think will be spoilers. So I'm going to wrap this update up because my mum needs the camera in a minute and get to work on editing so I don't have to all do it on Friday night like normal. So I'll see you in the next bit. it Friday. And update time. I finished The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I actually finished it last night, but it was too late to vlog, so I'm doing it now. I ran it through Corpile this morning, and it came out as 4 stars. It was very political, and it was a slow book, so I did feel like I was struggling to get through it at times, only because it was so slow. It is a political fantasy, which may be why it is a little bit slow in places, but 4 stars. I absolutely adore Terrain. She's feisty, she's kick-ass, she knows what she wants, and she wants it to not only better herself but better her fellow conscripts. And then we follow Luca, who I do relate to on a bit of a personal level. Luca was either in an accident or was born, I think she was in an accident, which resulted in her having chronic pain in her legs. Now, I have a chronic pain condition myself, so I did see the representation in there where some days Luca feels like she can take on the world, she can do all of the fencing, she can dance, but then other days she is resigned to her wheelchair, or her wheeled chair as it is in this book. Now, I'm never bad enough that I need a wheelchair, so I'm always grateful for the ability to walk, even if I am in a little bit of pain at times. So I did relate to that part of chronic illness. Yes, I know mine is hypermobility or joint hypermobility syndrome, whereas Luca's is probably from being thrown from the horse, as opposed to being born with it. But it is interesting. It's a solid debut and a solid start to the trilogy. I will keep my eyes open for the second book whenever that comes out. The ending doesn't really give much away. It just says the story continues in book 2 of Magic of the Lost. But I do like the magic system in this as well, even though it isn't the main focus of the plot. It is an interesting take on it, and the god in this, the god whose religion the magic comes from, is all about balance, so give and take, peace and war, that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that continues, as well as the relationship between Luca and Terrain, because neither of them are particularly good characters. They are both morally grey. They both do some quite terrible things at times to get what they want, and they know no one's gonna stop them or anything like that, especially in Luca's case. So that makes this book 8 of the month, I believe. I'll check. I need to write the review for this in my reading journal and update my bullet journal and my little whiteboard to reflect it. But I do believe it is book 8 of the month. We'll just pop the dust jacket back on. The last official book on the TBR, I know, is This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria, so I'll probably be starting that tonight. I do have half an hour while this is going to get coloured. It's just going to be at home, so you'll probably see me looking very fetching in my shower cap if I do some B-roll of me reading while I'm waiting for my hair to set. No, that's the wrong word, to develop. So there's that. I'm not going anything funky, I'm just going for a similar purple again, but I think this purple is more red, so there's that. And unlike other weeks, I'm going to leave this vlog running until Sunday. Reason being, I actually have my first COVID vaccine tomorrow, and I just think it's a cool thing to have footage of, because it is a once in a life. It is a strange time that we live in. So I'm going to make a start on This Golden Flame. Oh, and in case I didn't mention it, the Unbroken came from Illumicrate. I think I've been doing a good job of mentioning which books came from where. I mean, it's only ever going to be one of 3. So I have This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria, and this is a fairy loot book with a very cute, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but a very cute little author signature there. This gorgeous foil embossing on the front, which gives me, I don't know why, but it gives me Greek vibes. I think it's probably because this is kind of like a toga. And then we have the dust jacket, the underneath dust jacket, which I'm going to keep for a secret for now. A quick overview of what this book is about. We follow Karis, who is an orphan and is forced to serve the country's ruling group of scribes. Karis wants nothing, and obviously Karis wants nothing to do with that. She just wants to find her brother, but family doesn't matter to the scriptorium. When she's out looking at the scriptorium, who just want to find out about this magic, unlocking the magic of an ancient automaton army. So obviously Karis being our main protagonist and this being a YA, she awakens a hidden automaton called Alex, and he is intelligent and has a conscience of his own, but he has no idea why he was made and why his father, the nation's greatest traitor, wanted to destroy him and his kind. So suddenly the scriptorium isn't just wanting to control Karis, it wants to hunt her. So obviously Alex and Karis go on the run, trying to find her brother and the secret that's held her country in its power for centuries. And the art on this under jacket really makes me think of Greeks. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm probably going to make a start on this with its pretty dusky pink edges. And the next time you see me, it will probably be with me chilling with my shower cap, getting the colour in. But I'll leave that for now because this was only supposed to be a quick update and I rambled for long enough. Okay, so it is a little bit later. You'll have seen in the B-roll while my hair was developing, I was reading This Golden Flame. It has been a while, because obviously you can tell my hair is slightly darker and a little bit curly. That's because obviously I've washed the dye out, popped the conditioner in, rinsed that out, and then read for a little bit. I'm now on chapter 5. I'm about to start that, which is page 58. I know I don't normally give you updates until page 100, but this is only a 300. Oh, there's my bookmark. I was looking for that. This is only a 380 page book. So I think 100, going into it, telling you what happens at 100 pages would probably be a spoiler. So I told you what the book was about previously, but I've gone, like I say, I'm on chapter 5 now, which is page 58. It is told in alternative POV. It's told in, we get Alex's point of view and we get Karis. It does start with Karis. She is the one to wake Alex up, and at the moment they are just sort of getting to know each other. I'm playing with my hair because it feels so soft. But they are getting to know each other. Karis is essentially being held hostage on this island. She's controlled, and the world seems to be controlled through runes or scripts. And about 200 years ago or so, something happened that's better. Something happened that stopped all of the scripts, the runes, from working, and the scriptorium are trying to bring that back. at the moment they don't really know what is happening. The writing is good, I'm engaged. It is, I'm going to say simple, but it's the kind of simple that gets pulled off well. You know, it's not flowery, and it's not I did this, I did that, we went there, here, because it is first person. And we are getting a sense of who we have had more Karis chapters than Alex at this point, but we do get a sense of who Karis is and her personality. She's a bit of a loner, only because she's always wanted to escape the island to find her brother. She's always had that hope that he is alive, and because she's always had that intention of running away, she's spurned all the other girls' as friendship. But she does have one kind of friend, Dane, who pops up at the beginning of the book to save her from doing something stupid. She's trying to break into the Hall of Records to try and find a record of where her brother is, Matthias. But she can't get the lock open, and rather than risk being seen by the script masters, Dane pulls her out of the way and sends her back to where she needs to be. The magic system at the moment, obviously I'm only a little bit in, so I'm still learning how the magic system and the runes work, but it seems to be that you have to know, a bit like the Shadowhunter world, in the sense that you need to know what these runes are and how to draw them in the specific order for it to work, but you have to do it on a ledger, or in the case of automatons, they have their tome that controls them, and Alex is found in a cave by Karis with his tome, so she's able to wake him up. And then we learn that he's been there for 200 years and he's a little bit of a blank slate. He doesn't really know what's going on. I think he's probably had a bit of a memory wipe. His father, the traitor, Master Theoden, may have done that, but this is still giving me Greek vibes. And I definitely think it's because of the clothes and the fact that it is set on an island. So we'll just see what happens tomorrow. If I get, I'll give you an update in the morning, because I'm probably just going to sit and read this and pop Pretty Little Liars on. I'm just about to start episode 25 of series 2, and I think this one is where we find the first A. Now, I remember who the first A is, but I just don't remember how they find them out. So that's I'm quite enjoying my little trip down memory lane. And in the morning, my hair will be dry. It's damp now, and I think it's nearly dry on the top, but that could just be the light. So we'll see what colour it is in the morning. But I'll leave this update here and just read for the rest of the night and let you know in the morning. Hi guys, it's Saturday morning and I thought I'd just film a quick TBR for Sequelathon. It's really early for a Saturday, but you know, that's what we do. And look, my hair is a little bit brighter than it was last night when you saw it pre-dye, but that's what I wanted because I like this colour. I just needed the roots doing, and yes, they look very red, but I think that's just the light. So today's plan is to obviously get my vaccine, do some filming, and try and get ahead on my July videos, but I'll talk to you more later because the camera is dying and I want to get these videos done. Oh, this light is so much better than the clip we had before, so you can see my hair a lot better. It's very purpley red. Anyway, I'm popping in to say I've had my first jab. Went fine. No side effects as of yet. My arm is a bit sore where they stabbed it, but the rest of it's fine. And my book box club box came. So while I'm waiting for Sean, I'm just going to unbox it. Ta-da! So we have the spoiler card, which I'm not looking at. The club clubhouse invite, which I'm also not looking at. So the theme was Just Imagine, and oh, it's Willy Wonka. These are travel sweets. I'm just going to try one. It just tastes like old-fashioned wild sweets. So these must be inspired by Willy Wonka. As usual, I'll go through it, try and guess the book, and then I'll go back and tell you who made what. We have a little Coraline keyring that says "Be wise, be brave, be tricky." We have a, oh, I like these bookmarks. We have a Somewhere Over the Rainbow bookmark, very fitting for Pride. But it has the little magnet at the top so you don't lose your place. With that quote, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I'm guessing, really nice. But with the quote, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I'm guessing it is definitely Wizard of Oz. But it fits for Pride as well. So we have Hayao Miyazaki. Reality is for people who love imagination. And just a nice little card print there. Socks. We have some socks, and they are Alice in Wonderland themed, and these are done by Joe Cool. Size is 4 to 7, so I'm good. I'm a size 6. So the only thing left in there is the book, and I think it's a hardback. As we will go through the spoiler card. Right, so Imagination Print was done by KelseyAnnArt.com, and Miyazaki is obviously the creator of Studio Ghibli. Alice in Wonderland socks by Joe Cool. The keyring is by Pin and Ink. The sweets were done by Bookbox. No. The sweets were from Pickett's, but the artwork on the lid is done by Hattie Hyder. Somewhere in the book, and then the bookmark is by Bookbox Club themselves, so I think that's that. And we'll have a quick look at the box and try not to get the wormies everywhere. Oh, I like this cover. It's upside down. Looks like it's upside down with the... Anyway, it's called Strange Creatures, and it is by Phoebe North. Their fantasy protected them, the truth may destroy them. Signed book plate, I'll pop that in a minute. From the moment that Annie was born, she and her brother Jamie were inseparable. Alike in almost every way, they promised to always take care of each other, and when life became too much for them, they created their own space in the woods behind their house. A fantasy world called Gumley, where no one else could find them. But then came middle school, when Jamie grew dark and distant. He found new friends and a life away from Annie and Gumley. And then one day, he disappears. Annie, her family, and the entire community are devastated. And as the days turn into months, turn into years, everyone begins to accept that Jamie is gone for good. Everyone except Annie, who believes that Jamie somehow has entered Gumley and she's the only one who can bring him back. But as Annie finds a new relationship with a girl she did not expect, she makes startling discoveries about her brother's disappearance and has to decide how much of herself she's willing to give up in order to keep hope alive. as they follow the lives of Annie, Jamie, and the friends and family around them. Acclaimed author Phoebe North weaves an unflinching, unforgettable story of empty spaces inside all of us and the devastating sacrifices we make in order to become whole. And I think, yep, it's that lovely purpley blue colour that I love so much. It's shown up as blue on the camera, but it is purple. And okay, so Phoebe North's pronouns are they, them. I must remember that, as I hate misgendering people if they tell me what their pronouns are. So, flicking through, looks like this is told in a couple of different parts. And it is about... oh, that's cool. Oh no, unless that's the... right, that's a thingy for that one. It's about 524 chapters, and from the brief glimpse that I had there, it looks like it's going to be told in multimedia. Multiple parts. Each part must be a separate story contained within the whole. But yeah, interested to read this one. I'm wondering if it's going to be a bit of a hard-hitting contemporary fantasy with some strange paranormal fantastical elements. So I'll pop this in here, find a way to put it on my book trolley, because I don't know if you can see it because the camera is still charging, but that middle tray of old books is full, and we're not at the end of the month yet. But all of my book boxes have arrived, and these might get moved to the top of the tree while I'm still reading my book box books for the rest of the month. But that's all I really popped in to say, just to unbox the book box club. You can never go wrong with socks. So I'll just... next time you probably see me will be Sunday when I'm sitting down in front of the proper camera, but I will try to get some footage of the weekend. I don't know what we're doing, so it'll probably just be food, but I'll see you soon. So it's Sunday afternoon and I'm just popping in to let you know that one, I'm still alive. The vaccine hasn't had any ill effects. I've got a bit of a sore arm where it was injected, but nothing major, just a bit like a pulled muscle kind of pain. So that was okay. No other side effects as of yet. And let's talk about the book, because I will be ending this vlog after this update because I have to get it up tomorrow, and to be honest, the rest of today will be spent reading. So I've got to page 224. I'm just about to start chapter 24, and we have pirates in this book now, which is a nice addition that I didn't see coming, and I'm still enjoying it. Depending on how this ends and how the last half goes, it may be a contender for a 5-star. And yesterday, Saturday, I did do a bit of pre-filming because I am still operating on the assumption that I am going away, and to be honest, that's probably what July's filming schedule is going to be anyway. Just pre-film a lot of videos that I have written down somewhere and get them scheduled if plans change. At least I've got some Friday content for you. And I'm sorry if you can hear the music, that's Amy. But yeah, that's it for this vlog. If you liked it, give it a like and hit that subscribe button if you want to see this, talk about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!